Mm-hmm.
The guy comes over to pick up his prom or some shit like that. He comes over to pick up the daughter. He's like, hey, man, can I talk to you for just a bit? Brings it back. It's 50 cents. So he brings it back into the garage, and there's all these fucking prison guys all fucking tatted up. And like, they're all standing there. He's like, listen, I've been up till now, I've been the person that's taking care of my daughter. Now she's in your hands.
That was a good yeah. What was the name of that show?
Den of Thieves.
Den of Thieves.
Den of Thieves.
Yeah.
And,
That was a good one.
and then he leaves, and they all start cracking up. Like, it was just a bit, but like, they're all just like,
cracking their knuckles, white beaters on.
Oh yeah. No,
it's good.
that would have scared me. Poor guy. All right, so we do have some
sound check, right? You good?
Yeah, we're good. I think we all sound good. I sound good.
Sound good?
You know what?
Good?
We can turn up if you need it in your ear.
You should sing.
No, absolutely not. Wrong podcast.
Just remember to talk into the mic.
Into the mic.
You can bring it towards you.
You can slide that towards you, and
All
this
right.
will adjust in and out.
Like this, yeah.
Does that sound good?
And if you're never mind.
Oh,
no.
Adjusting in and out.
No. So Ryan, when we first talked about having to get a mic at home,
Mhm.
Ah,
I said, "Are you gonna get one of those big black dicks?" He goes, "What?" I said, "Are you gonna get one of those big black dicks?" He's like, "Dude, you can't talk like that. You just need to stop, because now it's gonna get in my head." I'm like, "Hey man, if you want a big black dick in front of you, that's cool.
Go for it.
No hate
Yeah.
in my
Or
life."
can hang down.
could hang down. Oh boy!
High five.
Dude, that is so fucking great.
Oh, first interview of the day. There we go.
Just looking up at it. Hey,
I'm just thinking back to moments that matter. It's like, yeah.
moments that matter.
Yeah.
Actually, that would be a good podcast.
I agree. I agree.
Moments that
Yeah.
matter.
Moments
Yeah.
that matter.
Yep.
So we can turn up the headphone volume.
I can hear it fine.
Do you get it fine?
Yeah.
All
yeah,
right.
I'm good.
So green means go.
No, we're recording now.
Okay.
Yeah, we're recording. I'll give it a little clap to sync it up, and we're good.
Are we not supposed to talk now?
Yeah, we can talk. Do whatever you want.
Okay.
We're
that's
live.
right. We're
We're good.
live.
We're
Okay,
live.
you're going to cut that
'Cause
part. I'm
it
good.
reminded me of that Neil Brennan joke. He's talking about the people on Instagram, the clappers.
The clappers.
So
I gotta clap. I gotta set the.
actually, it helps in post production because then they know
Then
where
where the
clap-
marker is.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. You
That's
could probably clap again.
Yeah. No, I'm good. I
All
clap
right.
once.
Good. Always leave a marker.
Yeah.
So you want to do introductions?
Let's do introductions.
Yanni, go.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm Yanni Amouris. I'm part of Cornerstone's talent and workforce strategy group, and I'm excited to be here.
Very nice. Mike?
And I'm Mike Bollinger, Global VP of Strategic Initiatives, which translates to I do stuff.
You're a
And-
fixer.
Yeah,
You're
I'm
a fixer.
I'm a fixer.
It's kind of like Mr. Wolf of Cornerstone.
Yeah.
You're a fixer. You fix things. I did like last night at the dinner. I did like them. I think it is Karthik that honored you.
The shout out. Yeah.
That was just,
yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah.
That was nice of him just to kind of acknowledge, because you've been there a long time.
Well, and he's let me do a lot of different things, and he really lets me explore. And if you think about career mobility, in some cases it's, am I growing my career? In other cases, am I doing things that fill my bucket?
Right.
And Karthik has provided me that opportunity. So eternally grateful. But thank you.
Smart on him and them, because if they don't, someone else will.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Absolutely.
Kind of how that gets played. It's
Yeah.
like, on some level or another, it's just like cheating in a marriage, right?
I have no experience with that, but I'm
you
interested.
know where I'm going with this, right?
Yeah, I do.
I love how
If it's
he,
not provided,
yeah.
it will be provided.
Exactly.
One way or
That's-
another.
Yeah.
That's awareness. He knows the camera's on him.
Yeah.
I have no experience with that.
Well, you don't have to. You just acknowledge that, understand the metaphor.
In theory.
Yeah. In theory.
Fear.
Yeah.
I don't either, but my point is again, if it's not provided, it will be provided.
It's absolutely
Yeah.
So
spectacular point.
that's why you haven't been plucked, because I'm sure a Workday, an Oracle, whatever, they'd love to have you.
Oh, I've done 2 tours of duty each at both SAP and Oracle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys, Workday is a trifecta.
Yeah. Agreed.
I don't know what the Grand Slam is.
Yeah, I
We'll
don't
figure that
either.
out at one
Yeah.
point. But yeah, that's Amy and Meg. They just launched a show on our network.
Uh-huh.
It's called the Meg and Amy show.
Yep.
Because they're best friends and they've crossed paths everywhere. So
And it's really good.
it's a really cool show.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Really,
a good-
really
give it
cool
a
show.
listen.
I like it.
Gotta listen to that.
All right, so we're talking Deskless and Frontline workers. Yanni, let's start with you. What's the deal? Why is this so important right now?
Deskless workers, frontline workers, I think they're the backbone of any organization. They are the ones that represent a brand's promise, right? So when you're thinking about flight attendants, for example, right, they could make or break an organization's, an airline's reputation. And I think the reason it's so critical now is we're dealing with so many different dynamics. So you have a labor shortage. If you think about healthcare, there's a nursing shortage of about 2.1 million nurses in the US, right? You have declining birth rates over the last 10 years and a looming number of retirements also coming up. So this misnomer that deskless employees are abundant and irreplaceable is no longer the case.
Right.
And we have to be a bit more intentional about how we develop and retain deskless employees. But that's my take on it.
We read a report last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, and it was about, this is dealing with electricians and plumbers. So, so more of the trades. And it's like, we're already 1.8, 1.6 million in a deficit of those two trades. It's like, okay, if we're already in a deficit, like healthcare, if we're already in a deficit,
where are we going?
How are we going to fill just what we needed back then?
Yeah, I forget where the study was from, but there's like 500,000 plumbers and 600,000 electricians or like revert, one of those two.
Who are all making six-figure salaries.
Oh, we're all, and they're offering juniors in juniors schools.
Yes.
50 to 75K.
Wow.
To go into the trade.
To go into the trade as an apprentice, as a graduating senior. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. So when I think deskless worker, and by the way, just a kind of a PC moment, frontline worker in some cases has negative connotations.
It does.
Right?
COVID.
So COVID.
It always
So
has,
deskless is a much more appropriate. But if you think about it, 80% of the workforce is deskless. Okay.
Right.
That's a high number.
3.5 billion people or something globally. And I agree with Yanni on the fulfilling the brand promise. And then if you think about it, they're also responsible for customer sat, operational efficiency,
oh my God,
innovation comes out of there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and both my boys, by the way, went that deskless worker route and are extremely happy with how they did it. And one of them did it through a school program like you talked about. But I think we need to rethink, if you will, deskless workers in a whole new way. And I'll give you one last example. Politics aside, Trump came out and said, we're going to build ships back in the United States. China's building too many ships. Good. Well, then the follow-on was, we don't have anybody that knows how to build ships, right?
How do you get welders?
And well, it's not just welders, but how do you manage the robotics that are now available?
100%.
These are level up jobs that people don't think about when they think deskless worker.
Yeah,
right.
I think it's frontline deskless workers. It's a trade. It's low level. Yeah. It's nothing important, and that's not actually the case.
Coming right out of high school. Ish with no skills.
You couldn't make it in college, so you went and did something else.
And lights out manufacturing is another example of high tech kinds of work.
Oh yeah,
for somebody who's and so the multiplier effect, the operational efficiency effect, and the ability to craft a feedback loop from those people is next level innovation, and that's where we need to invest.
So how are they misunderstood? So, like we've danced around the topic just a little bit, but how are we misunderstanding their needs from an employment perspective? How are companies misunderstanding the workers themselves?
Well, I think part of it is the peanut butter approach first. Okay, in other words, they're all alike and they all have similar granular peanut butter content and so on.
Right.
1 in 3 people start their career in the restaurant industry. Okay. So they need to learn things like conflict resolution. They need to learn durable skills in that regard. If I go into, we talked about some of the manufacturing work, that's a whole different level.
Right.
So the point that I think we're making a mistake of is we think that it's a one and done rather than the evergreen aspect that's very specific to the role of that particular deskless worker and their industry.
Yeah.
I think when we think about the nature of the work, I think there's a misconception that the work is very mundane and repetitive.
Right.
Right. And robotic. But when you think about the deskless workers of today, where there are higher expectations from consumers, there's a lot more adaptability required and a lot more emotional intelligence required.
Right.
For these workers to be adaptable, to think on the fly. So like nurses don't necessarily take doctor's orders.
Right.
They have to think on the fly, right? Retail employees have to be more tech savvy and know how are products being offered online digitally.
Right.
They have to have digital acumen. So the nature of the work itself has changed. So I think leaders need to really rethink about what that work is.
Yeah. So how do we bridge that gap? How do we upskill them and train these people? How do we make sure we're doing what we need to do so that they're available and can actually do the role?
So if you think back to, well, there's a couple of things, right? One of those is obviously you need to understand what the skill set is, the durable skills that are adjacent. But those are all technical HR-ish kinds of terms. The thing to think about is that it needs to be very specific and just in time. So if you think about, I'm going to go back and get academic for a minute. Mosher's 5 moments of learning need.
Yep.
When I need to learn something new, when something's changed, when something's broken, when it's emergency, right? How do you provide a platform for them that can adapt to those moments of need? Exactly.
Right.
At the time that they need them, right? And accessibility is part of that.
So it's medium where they are as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And when they need it.
Right.
Right. It's not just a one way. It's very much generating a two-way channel.
Is that modality?
Sure. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Some people use that word differently, and it's learning how you'd like to learn. Some of what the consultants used to say, where the rubber meets the road.
Yep.
Which used to drive me crazy. But it's true. It's, again, if you learn a certain way and we understand your learning style and it's just in time, like you said.
Yeah.
Well, add to that the immersive kind of stuff. You want to talk about immersive and the way that immersive works in a practice mode for those folks?
Yeah, absolutely. Immersive learning is learning that mimics real life experiences and creates vulnerability for the learner to respond just in time to
I love that.
real scenarios, right? And that's very similar to on-the-job training, right? Where you have to not just know something in practice conceptually, but what do you do in the moment when a difficult situation arises?
Right.
So I think immersive learning is critical. But one other point that I wanted to make about bridging the gap is picture this counterpoint. So the Association for Talent Development did a study ATD, right.
Yep.
They did a study for Frontline, for deskless organizations. I think they interviewed over 330 organizations, and they found that 85% fulfill their training requirements via in-person training.
Wow.
Not virtually.
Why?
Not just in time.
Why?
One type of modality.
Because
this
one
is
that
recent.
works the least. Yeah.
Because that's the only way we could bring people together in the room. Right. And that's such an antiquated.
Do they need to be together
Never.
in a room?
Never a good idea.
Yeah.
Because what happens is when they're in the room is what happens after they're in the room.
Yeah.
They go and drink.
Kind of like what'll happen after this.
100%.
Okay.
I'm not
Just
saying
checking.
in 9 months there'll be babies made. However, correlation or causation.
One of the questions I had yesterday, I didn't get to ask it, but maybe you guys can answer it here. And it's similar to bridging the gap, but skills decay and even skills inflation, right? And so just in time, how do we capture that? How are we able to tell where are we losing our skills, but where are we not growing our skills just in time to actually run through this training?
So one of the things that we talked, and you saw it on the stage here with Karthik and Sean Hinton, is the ability to look around corners in the sense that skills, it's tasks that then eventually boil down to the skills of the task. And retail has known that forever. They do task-based scheduling.
Right.
But what's changing are the tasks are typically still appropriate, but the skills required to do that are accelerating. So when you talk about the half-life and the decay, and in some cases, you're often talking about the white collar, if you will, the deskful workers.
Desk bound.
Deskful. That's cool.
Yeah.
Shackled.
Yeah.
Shackled. More like
But the idea that you have to be able to look around corners and understand how those things are morphing actually comes from this notion of crowdsourcing, which we do in labor market intelligence. There's this old story about the story of the dead ox. That can be inappropriate.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
nothing is inappropriate.
Yeah. In the early 1900s at a fair, people would guess the weight of the ox. Okay?
Right.
And they were wildly off.
Yeah.
But this mathematician, I forget his name now, went in and looked at the combined number of guesses and found they like within 2% on the average of all the guesses. So the idea of data and data aggregation and watching the wisdom of the crowd applies to labor market intelligence if you're looking across the globe like we are with Sky High by Cornerstone.
Right. I want to get back to immersive just real quick. Last year at Connect, one of the things that we did is Ryan and I did the VR.
Amazing.
We did the VR bit, and like I was stacking groceries or doing something like that. And I grew up not in the restaurant industry, but I grew up in retail. And it literally took me back to like one of my first jobs as a cashier. And I loved it because you could put that stuff on the front end of recruiting to kind of give candidates like, do you want to really do this? Are you sure you want to do this? This is the job, etc. But I could also see it as a training mechanism too, which is what it is.
Well, and add the practice component to it, the at-bats, like the conflict resolution.
Right.
If I've only taken a course in person, what do I know about conflict resolution?
Not much.
I learn it over and over again.
Yeah.
So immersive gives you the safe place to practice where no one's judging.
Nobody's listening. No one's judging. You're just doing it. Mine was it was a customer service bit, and the woman was in front of me talking. She actually walked from the back of me, and I caught it out of the corner of my eye. And I was kind of taken back from it. And then she sat and we were talking. It was weird because there was people around me listening, but I just kind of went with it. And it was really responsive. Like everything was really dead on. I'm sure it's much better now than it was.
I could have so used conflict resolution at my career at Walmart.
Could still use conflict.
Yeah. I probably still
I've
use.
seen you run this.
I'm not
Witness.
You're not wrong, Ryan. You're not wrong.
We do not let him talk with clients or
at all. They can't talk to him.
No,
because at one point they're like, "I really want to know your opinion." I'm like, "Oh,
you don't.
This is really going to end badly." But I was in Grand Prairie, Texas, and it's the first time I was running a store. Get a call. We used to have codes to come to customer service. A code comes out. I go to the customer service. A heavy-set African-American woman says, "Hey, how you doing?" I said, "How you doing? How can I help? What can I do to be helpful?" And then she hits my chest with her finger, like, bam. And then she goes, "The price of broccoli is not scanning correctly." And I'm like, first of all, I walked all the way from the back of the store all the way up here for this bit.
broccoli.
So
We're talking broccoli.
we talking broccoli?
Yeah.
Man, talking about the gang. Yeah. So she literally, I was about to go into fight mode. And I'm like, you know what? This is important to her. She stopped down her day. She went to customer service. She cares about broccoli being scanned correctly, weighed correctly, whatever. You know what? I'm going to give her a gift certificate. I'm going to go the other direction. So as she takes her finger off of my chest, I've said, listen, first of all, thank you for bringing that to our attention, because we wouldn't have known that had you not told us. So come on over here. Let me get you a gift certificate so you can go and get some more stuff or give it to somebody else. And I took that situation from it was about to get nasty.
Sure.
Police were going to be involved, all the way down to she was smiling when she left. Like literally smiling.
And ask yourself, how do you scale that? Because the deskless worker takes that crap all the time.
All the time.
Right? And
time.
How do you scale that in a way that is both useful for the customer satisfaction aspect, but also for the psyche of the individual that they don't take it personally?
Yeah. There was nothing. She wasn't trying to be
She was
aggressive
upset.
or mean. She was really just saying, listen, I have my receipt and it didn't come out like I thought it would come out. And, she's managed a budget.
This is a
fair
case
enough.
study of
Right.
Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A does this really, really well with their younger workers.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it, but they do it really well.
The other cool thing about immersive is it really democratizes learning. So in previous organizations, I used to run leadership development programs, and the secret sauce was the role plays and the case studies.
Right.
Where employees had to solve a
Scenarios, stuff
problem,
like that.
scenarios, right?
Yeah.
And these leadership programs were for hypos. They were very exclusive, maybe 5% of the population.
Right.
I had the rest of the organization kind of saying, hey, Yanni, what about the rest of us?
Yeah.
Like,
Just drop them off in the deep end of the pool.
Right.
Good luck.
Right. And now knowledge checks and tests are just one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
Right. Immersive really assesses your ability to adapt in a given moment. And it gives you data on what you need to work on. So it's not just the immersive experience, but it's what do you do afterwards with it? What's
Fascinating, we could talk about generations for the next 2 or 3 hours, but the thing is the younger generations need different skills. They need to learn differently.
Yeah.
Like my kids, both of them are squarely Gen Z, and they don't make eye contact. Right. They're on there. They can be, listening to you and like, yeah, no, I'm with you. Yeah. Blah,
I
blah,
have
blah.
an idea.
All right.
I'm going to throw this scenario out there. Okay. I'm going to go back about 30 days. We've been having this debate.
Oh, yes.
Okay. I'm going to start with mine. You're interviewing William.
But I'm 22.
He's 22 years old. He's in an interview. You're sitting just like
I'm in.
Yeah, he's 22. He pulls out in the middle of the interview, pulls out his phone. He starts playing on his phone, texting, doing whatever.
You're setting him up. You can't say playing.
Well, whatever. He's doing something
Fair
on his
point.
phone.
I'm
doing
following.
something
Can't leave
on
the
his phone.
witness. Right.
Something on his phone. How do you react as the interviewer?
Couple of things that are going on. First off, it's the presentation of the individual. They might actually pull out their phone and say, you know what? I just thought of something. Let me look that up.
This
then
is
I'm okay.
not going well for me right now.
Then
Thank
I'm
you.
okay. I don't know. This is a forensic debate. I'll go the other way as well. It also depends generationally on the interviewer's age.
100%.
Okay.
That's
So
although Gen Z,
we never talked about that.
yeah,
We
didn't.
talked about the interviewee, not the interviewer.
Right.
And so
That's a different story.
That-
that's a
That's
different
interesting.
story as well. So if the interviewee is doing that in a way that furthers the conversation and the interviewer is appreciative of that, good thing.
Right.
But in most cases, I would think, particularly with the interviewer being, old guy like
Yeah.
me or something like that, you get the old man Bollinger. What are you doing? Get off my lawn.
Yeah.
Right?
That's exactly
Clint
what he
Eastwood and
said.
Gran Torino.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, exactly. Clint Eastwood, Gran Torino. So I think from that perspective, it could be an accepted behavior,
Mhm.
but I'll give you the analogy to that. What if the individual comes in wearing the baseball cap? They don't take it off. Is that okay too?
If they're a Phillies fan,
Yeah. So where's
Depends on the team.
depends on the team, the interviewer again. But also, is there a decorum that's expected that those lines are blurring now? And so I don't think there's a 100% answer to that.
And what's the culture of the organization that person is interviewing?
that's a good point.
Right.
It's Goldman Sachs.
Maybe not.
Maybe
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah. But to Mike's point, a lot of us, look at us. We have our phones in front of us now.
Right.
Yeah.
We have notes that we might be referencing.
Right.
We've got all the questions we need to ask you right here.
Yeah.
Right.
Mike.
We're not using it as a crutch.
Right.
We're using it as an enabler. So I think, when you think about generational differences, I think what gets us in trouble the most is jumping to assumptions
Right.
about the motive of why they're using the phone.
Okay, so I'm going to switch gears on you because I think we got all that we need to. AI and deskless workers. What are we seeing so far? How are we kind of using AI right now? How do we think we're going to need to use it in the future around that corner?
Think about it this way, and we're back to the phone a little bit.
Right.
Okay. In many cases, deskless workers are afraid to admit they don't know something because they believe it will be held against them culturally.
Right.
And that's got retail vestiges associated with, but it's part of it, right?
Right.
So how can AI, and this is where I'm seeing a lot of initial things, I think longer term, you'll see other things, allow me to quickly ask a question that I can get an answer to in a non-threatening way, even immersive aside, which is more practice-based, just in time, moments that matter, right? Just in time. I need to know right now what's wrong with this NCAT. I need to know right now the delivery mechanism for that particular shot have changed. So I think you're going to see AI serve as an agent, if you will, no pun intended, for those people very early on.
Right. Omnipresent. Basically, when they need something, they can then, hey, I'm trying to figure out this pipe fitting, or I'm trying to figure out this whatever the bid is.
Yeah. And Home Depot does this. I don't know if
they do.
Yeah. And in the beginning, it's a couple years ago, the guy, asked him a question. He comes out, he starts looking. I'm like, oh, great. Like, I'm going to Home Depot. I need some plumbing help.
Yeah.
And now
I could Google it myself.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But when you look at what they actually have their own internal program, whatever they're using. And so now they're like, okay, we're going to go to aisle 12, bay, whatever. But then they actually pull the video and say, here's exactly what you're going to do. And I love it, because now I don't need to go search for it. They can send me the link and say, here's the video we just watched.
The only problem with that is it's putting old men that don't want to retire out of jobs.
Evolve or die, baby.
But now they got to become people greeters at Walmart.
They shouldn't be climbing ladders anyway.
But think about the last mile, which is we still feel like it's a one-way push.
Right.
Let's use the Home Depot analogy. If that video, then they show it to a customer, and the customer goes, I don't get it, and so on. What if you enable that feedback loop to say the video only took it so far, but we should revisit it? And so that's where true innovation comes from. And if there are ambassadors, then how do we make this a two-way conversation?
I like that a lot. My threading's wrong, or it's copper, not whatever. It's like, how do I make that work? I like that a lot. The two-way street makes a lot of sense, and enabling that to then become a part of that learning. We used to call them knowledge base 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And it kind of comes full circle that this is actually what we're doing now.
I'm also mindful that the music in the background is confirming that this is a good idea.
Yeah.
What's interesting, when I think about that ATD study that I mentioned earlier, I think 85% of the organizations that were surveyed are not using AI for training and development.
Oh my God.
And these were about 334 organizations that were surveyed. So I think there's an opportunity.
It's coming.
But I think the number one reason is that they cited for not doing it is they didn't have the staff and resources that were equipped to roll it out.
Okay, so I think I've understood. We don't have enough candidates. Check. Our staff isn't trained, and we don't have the technology.
And we don't have the strategy when that moment comes, how to handle it.
That's a recipe for not good things there.
And I would say one last thing too is there's this continuous bias that we all have, that your role as a deskless worker eventually results in a deskful worker, right? Rather than the old days when you had the triangle, I could either be a management or I could stay on the technical track.
Right.
There needs to be understanding.
Generalist.
You got it. And I think that bias is starting to blur the lines a little bit.
100%. 100%.
One other thing I'm noticing about AI, you also have to have trust in your employees. So there are a lot of organizations that don't allow employees to bring their own device to work,
which is insane,
and use it for training.
Yeah,
because they think they'll slack off, or that they're not going to do just the training; they're going to do other stuff. So for organizations to really leverage AI and just technology in general, you got to trust that your people are going to do it.
Right. Well, so first of all, before we end, we're at Spark. And I said this yesterday during the analyst meeting, that from last year to this year, y'all have migrated the company 5 years. It seems as an outsider, right? It probably didn't feel that way inside, right? But from an outsider's point of view, last year we were talking about agility, workforce agility, and we were talking about skills and things like that. And this year, it's like we've moved past kind of like bringing the audience along with you to then get to this place. Do you all see the same thing or feel the same thing?
We do. Karthik, who's our CPO and my boss, so shameless plug, 3 years ago, it was like believe, and then it was grow, and now it's like accelerate.
It's time to put the foot on the pedal.
Yeah. And I think it's a recognition on our part that data is our moat.
Yeah.
And for the casual listener, a
Mhm.
moat being it's a defensible position.
Right.
We talked about moats earlier.
We sure
We
did.
did.
But the whole point is that this massive amount of data enables us to do things that couldn't be done otherwise.
Right.
And so capitalizing on that is a thought experiment that yields all kinds of results. So yes, I feel that.
You feel that too?
I absolutely feel that.
I love it. First of all, I just love it. I love the energy. It's people, because we've been doing this for a long time, and y'all were technically one of the first SaaS players.
Born in the Cloud by pure accident. You ever listen to Adam
The
Miller's story?
on-demand
Yeah.
part
Yeah.
still gets
Yeah.
thrown out occasionally. But the thing is that's your legacy, but people need to rethink Cornerstone. And I think that was said a couple times yesterday. It's like, if you haven't looked at us in a while,
Look at us. Yeah.
you probably need to, we're not your grandfather's Cornerstone or your father's Cornerstone.
Yeah.
It requires this approach to platform thinking that
Mhm.
allows us to recognize. Was actually an old saying that we've had around for a long time. We're opinionated out of the box, but
Right.
configurable under the hood. We recognize that this is a broad ecosystem, but we also recognize that data and being able to deliver that at moments that matter
Yeah.
is an important part of that result.
Sumser did this bit with me one time. He's like, strong beliefs, loosely held. Or strong opinions, loosely
Yep.
held.
Yep.
Mhm.
Great
Yep.
bit. Well, I think it's a wrap, right?
I think so, guys. This has been fantastic. Thank you all for coming by.
And thank you for the forensic argument around the
Yeah.
interview and the
Oh,
phone. I love it. I love
He's
it.
won most of them.
Does he?
Everyone, but
Yeah.
this one. Well,
It's-
this one's kind of like borderline.
So I'm
It's-
here for you.
So here's
I think
basically.
I'm dying to know
and
what
we'll-
actually happened.
We'll,
Yeah,
we'll cut this out. But basically, the bit for me when we read the story is I'm like, because we read it at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
and he went because I read it to him, and because we do the news like on Sundays, we do the news like John Oliver. We look back at the week, and so I always try to find stories that'll rub him the wrong way. So I found this story. I'm like, an interviewee is using his phone during the interview, during an in-person interview. Mind you, not even online, an in-person interview. I'm like, oh, that's definitely going to wreck him. This is great.
Yeah.
So it did. I get halfway through the story. He's like, oh, hell no, I'm walking away from this shit. I'm out.
Yeah, I was
Done. And we were at a recruiting conference
Yeah.
3 weeks ago. So we asked all the different recruiters,
awesome.
global head of talent acquisition at Ford. She goes, I've already got up and walked out.
When somebody did that.
Yeah.
Well, that she
Boom.
said that she would get up and walk.
Oh,
She
okay.
would-
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
She wouldn't even say,
I guess that's a wrap.
Good thing we're not recording this part because that was
romantic music. Cue. Romantic.
yeah.
All right. So what's the biggest whale? Totally off topic.
Yeah.
What's the biggest whale? Blue whale?
I want to say blue whale. But there isn't there one that they found bones on that was extinct that is even more massive?
Yeah, I just want the ones that are floating.
The one I think it's blue.
Okay.
Go on.
Here's my dream.
Alive. Floating alive.
This is how fucked up my brain is. So this is what I dreamed about last night. Why not do cocaine trafficking with blue whales?
Mm-hmm.
So make a remote control
Blue
whale as a delivery mechanism. So
I
you can
thought
do from the west coast of Colombia.
As long as it's following the migration path, who would know?
Who would fucking ever know?
Yeah.
And you just drop it off into Puget Sound. Done. Pick it up there. It's much easier to come down this way than it is to go up that way.
So along those same lines, have you watched Landman?
Oh yeah.
No, but
That's
Remember yeah, I know. So at one point, the guy goes, "You didn't report the truck stolen." He goes, "No, they come back like 3 weeks later."
Yeah, they do.
Well, what am I going to do if I report them stolen? I'm out of the truck. They just take them for a while and they
Yeah.
bring them back.
Yeah,
It was like a really good story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that shit, and all the footage from Fort Worth, that's all legit.
Yeah.
Like all of it is legit. Those are the Bass Towers. Like
Yeah.
all of it is totally. And I lived in Midland. I ran a Walmart in Midland. So that shit's legit too.
Is it still working? Is it still in business?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I just wondered because,
Oh no, Midland's like
got it.
Houston. It's I was actually a coyote. I didn't know it at the time because I was 18 years old. But one of the girls in Fabrics and Crafts asked me at one point, she goes, "You're single, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, well, I got a cousin coming up, but she doesn't have a place to stay because she stayed at your place. I'm like, "Yeah." Girl comes in, Mexican girl. comes in, can't speak a lick of fucking English. And so she comes in, and I'm like, okay, well, listen, it's a 3-bedroom apartment because it was during a